What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am MLB Chatterbox. My name is Christian Correa. A different camera angle today, but we still got some big news to talk about here today, all involving the Houston Astros. An offer that has been accepted by a pitcher and an offer that has been declined by one of their top position players in Carlos Correa. All that in today's video. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty, guys, let's first start off with the good news for the Astros. It has been reported from Jeff Passan of ESPN that the Astros and right-handed pitcher Lance McCullers Jr. Have both agreed to a deal, an extension that is worth $85 million. Sources say, and here's the article from ESPN, it says, quote, right-hander Lance McCullers Jr. and the Astros are in agreement on a 5-year, $85 million contract extension, sources familiar with the deal told ESPN's Jeff Passan, our friend. McCullers is coming off a solid 2020 when he returned after missing a season following Tommy John surgery. He went 3-3 with a 3.93 ERA and 56 strikeouts and 11 starts. The extension will start next season. McCullers and the Houston Astros had previously agreed to a 1-year, $6.5 million contract for 2021 to avoid arbitration. Earlier this year, he spoke of wanting to remain with the Astros, who drafted him 41st overall back in 2012. This is what McCullers had to say about him wanting to stay in Houston. McCullers says, quote, Houston is where I want to be. This is my home. This is where I see myself, he said last month. I would undoubtedly want to be here well into the future. You know, I think the real question would be, do the Astros see me here? Do the Astros see me as part of their future? If the Astros see me as part of their future, as a big part of the future, then I would love to stay here if it makes sense for everyone. So he wants to stay here. It was just kind of the Astros and, wondering if worth their while to extend him long term, because he's a great pitcher, but he had Tommy John. He's still very young. He looked great in the postseason back in 2017. He earned a starter spot, and then he had Tommy John, so you got to see how he bounces back, but he looks pretty good. He was good last year. The Astros clearly felt the same, reaching the extension with the 27-year-old right-hander, who's expected to be one of the leaders of the rotation, with ace Justin Verlander out for the season after having Tommy John surgery. So JV's out for this season. He's going to have Tommy John. He had it. He's out for the full season to recover for Tommy John. Overall, McCullers is 32-25 with a 3.70 ERA in 5 seasons with the Astros, including an all-star campaign back in 2017. McCullers went from a starter to a postseason reliever in 2017, notably throwing 24 straight breaking pitches to earn his first Major League save in Game 7 of the ALCS to close out the New York Yankees. McCullers also was on the mound for the start of Game 7 of the World Series against the Dodgers, opening with 2 1/3 scoreless innings to send Houston on its way to a 5-1 championship clinching wins. All right, so I think this is a great deal and a signing for the Astros. The guy's only 27 years old. They signed him to a 5-year, $85 million contract extension. This is very good. He's looking to be the ace in Houston. Houston is really trying to keep that dynasty intact of what they thought it could be after that cheating scandal. I mean, a lot of guys had departed from Houston. A lot of guys that were of that core in Houston who won them that championship are gone. And it looks like another big piece will be gone as well. But before we get to that, I just want to say, good signing by Houston. $85 million contract extension. It's economical for them. I think it'll benefit them. The guy's only 27 years old. So it's really going to help out the Astros in the long term. Justin Verlander would assume, he's come back for a couple more seasons after Tommy John. Hopefully he does well. Maybe he'll retire after Houston. Maybe he won't want to be a free agent again and say, you know what, I made my money, I'm done, and I end my career in Houston. That could happen, and I think that's what the Astros are, preparing for in this signing in Lance McCullers Jr., because this guy is going to be a true ace for them in the long term. So the other news might tick off some people. So that is the Houston Astros also made a contract extension offer to their all-star shortstop, the cheater himself, Carlos Correa. Carlos Correa declined that offer. And we're going to get into that right now. All right, so here's an article from fansided.com, and it says, the Astros contract offer to Carlos Correa was borderline insulting. Wow, okay. It says the Astros made a contract offer to Carlos Correa he was never going to accept. The Houston Astros are one of the several teams dealing with long-term questions at shortstop. Carlos Correa is part of what could be a historic group of shortstops hitting free agency in 2021. He joins the likes of Francisco Lindor, Trevor Story, Corey Seager, Javier Baez. The Astros have several major contracts on the books and want to find a way to keep Correa while also paying him a fair value. However, the team's latest offer was just insulting. So this is from John Heyman. Again, John Heyman versus Jeff Passan when it comes to reporting. I can't believe John Heyman. I mean, John Heyman's like a 2-year-old when he tweets out stuff. He doesn't know what he's saying. John Heyman, I can't, but this is what he says for what it's worth. He says Astros offered superstar shortstop Carlos Correa about $120 million for 6 years. And no surprise, to this point, there's no sign of a transaction. Assuming no deal occurs, Correa, now 26, will be the youngest in a great free agent class. So the point is that this deal or offer, I should say, of $120 million was an insult to Carlos Correa. Now, I know he's a cheater. I don't like him. But again, he's a top 10 shortstop. Whether he cheated or not, I mean, his talent is what his talent is. I mean, his talent is great. He's a Lindor. He's a Trevor Story. He's a Javier Baez. He's probably better than all three of them. Maybe not Lindor, but, you get my gist. So my point is that this is truly an insult. It's an insult to Carlos Correa. That's my point, and that's the point the article makes. And if this is true, and they actually offered him $120 million for 6 years, that is laughable. I mean, Francisco Lindor wants $300 million. And I'm sure Correa wants like $300 million too. I mean, they're only $120 million for 6 years. And again, they got McCullers, which is great. I mean, that's not really a steal because he was hurt and he's unproven. But Correa, although he's been hurt, he's not like been out for a season. So that's what makes it different if you're a little confused. Well, McCullers isn't a big contract and, he's really good and they offered him $85 million for 5 years. So why does it matter with Correa signing him $120 for 6 years? Well, the point is that McCullers been hurt. He's unproven. He has glimpses of really great potential, and he has great potential, and he's young. But again, with Correa, he's proven. He's posted in the World Series. He's won a World Series for what it's worth. So did Lance McCullers. But again, Correa is an everydayer. He's a shortstop, one of the most valuable positions in Major League Baseball, probably behind maybe the catcher. I mean, you can even argue that a shortstop is the most valuable position ever in the sport of baseball when it coming to the 9 positions, not including a pitcher, obviously. But again, even at that, pitcher only pitches 5 days. So Correa's playing every day. He's won a World Series for what it's worth. He's posted in the postseason. And this is an insult. And again, I don't blame him for testing the free agent market. I mean, if I was him and I got this offer, I'd be like, screw that. Just because, not because I think I'm cocky, and I'm sure he is, but not because, he thinks that, he's way better than what they offered him. No, because look at what Lindor wants and he's getting offered. Look at what Bauer got. Look at what Trevor Story wants. Look at what Nolan Arenado got. So it's guys like this that make Correa look and say, wow, if I take this deal, I'm going to screw myself in the long term. And again, they're trying to build a dynasty. The article noted they're trying to, win him over by their dynasty that they've tried to create, which they really haven't created a dynasty. They only won 1 World Series. They've been to 2. It's the same thing with the Dodgers. I mean, you can argue the Dodgers do not have a dynasty. They've been to 3 World Series. They only won 1. So you can't, claim you have a dynasty when you only won 1 and you only been to 2. That's not a dynasty. So I think Correa should walk. He will walk, and I think he's going to go somewhere, I don't know where, but I think he's probably going to test a free agent market. I'm about 100% sure on that one. Alrighty, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below your thoughts of the news coming out of Houston, of them signing McCullers and them swinging and missing on Correa. Alrighty, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you later.